because I have limited time with you, I know you got to be out of here like in 5 minutes. So this decision to take on the Star Wars franchise, I think it's a no-lose. The last 3 that George Lucas made were horrible. Like, he ruined the franchise, which is perfect. I wouldn't want to walk into a franchise that had been, like, stellar for the last 3 pictures. Mm-hmm. You're going to come in there like Jesus Christ himself and save the franchise. It's such a great franchise. That's the way you looked at it, right?
Well, the way I looked at it was that when I was a kid and I saw Star Wars, it just blew my mind. And that feeling is something I hadn't felt in a long time.
Right.
And the idea, when I sat down with Kathy Kennedy, who's producing the movie, and she said, basically there are, creatively...
Who is Kathy Kennedy?
Kathy Kennedy she's as the president of Lucasfilm now.
Right.
She worked with Steven Spielberg for years. She's a producer.
You don't have to talk to George Lucas at all?
Well, I mean, I've known George, for years. So, but the job at hand is to basically, tell a story, like tell,
how does this all come about? Number, what's the business behind this thing? In other words, Lucas decides he sold the Star Wars franchise.
He sold his whole company to
Disney.
Yeah. Disney, yeah.
And now, I guess he has some say-so in who is going to direct the Star Wars franchise?
I have no idea what his contract is, but I'm sure that...
But he's involved.
I'm sure that just even if he sold it completely, he's going to be involved on something.
Were you the first guy they went to say, hey, we want you to direct Star Wars? I
was working on Star Trek, and I got a call through my agents about... would I be interested? And I was in the middle of this insane movie, Star Trek Into Darkness, and I thought, I can't even think about it. So I said, no, thank you, and went on my way. And I think that they went to a few other people and had conversations. Yeah, and ended up coming back to me saying, can we just sit down? And Kathy, who I've known for a long time, she's the one that's amazing, because she used to be Steven Spielberg's assistant.
Right.
And when I was 16 years old, we were in a film festival, and she called.
You went to her office?
She came to my office.
Good, because you have lighting, right? I mean, does she have lighting in her office? Or is that a move that everyone has no lighting?
We met at Eddie's.
Oh, you met at Eddie's. No lighting.
So Kathy came over, and anyway, we had this conversation, and she was...
Now, wait a second. When you have a conversation to take over Star Wars, who handled it? Do you sit down and talk money with her, or you have a guy who does that?
Oh, no, of course I don't. I don't.
You go out very flattered and very honored, and then you call, you're not going to fucking believe this. They want me to direct the next Star Wars thing.
The big thing was, Katie, my wife, and I...
Beautiful wife.
Thank you so much. Had this big plan to go away with our kids for 6 months. Everything was like set. We had this whole plan that in January we were going to do this whole thing. And Kathy comes in, and I assume the meeting's going to be a great meeting. Thank you, no thank you. But by the time the meeting's over, I just had this feeling of once in a lifetime opportunity. Like amazing opportunity, crazy opportunity. Right. So I go downstairs. Katie works at Bad Robot. I go downstairs, and I close the door, and I sit down with Katie, and I just say, I just had the meeting with Kathy. I know I'm not going to do it, but part of me wants to do it.
Right.
So she, in her,
her wisdom
and sort of patent selflessness, says, I think you got to really think about it, because this is something that you'll regret if you don't consider it. So she sort of gave me the sort of green light to even think, what would that be? And so now the idea is that we're gonna go to London to shoot the movie. So we're going away, but we're not going away the way we planned at all. It's going to be crazy.
So you've read the script for the new Star Wars?
Well, this script's being written right now.
It's being written?
Yeah.
And then you're going to direct it?
Yeah.
Wow. And what was this thing I read, if I may, and I know you're here to promote Star Trek, but I don't get a conversation with you too often, that you once wrote a script for Superman, for a movie for Superman.
Yeah.
And it got leaked onto the internet, and so you abandoned the whole project. You mean to tell me you wrote a whole script? How the hell does it get leaked onto the internet?
Well, what happened was I wrote a script, and it was at Warner Brothers, and all I know is that it was an earlier draft.
Right.
And one morning I get an email from a friend of mine saying, you should go check out this website, and I did. And on the website was this review, scene for scene, of this early draft of the script. Literally, things that we had changed and made adjustments, but it was this massive, endless review, which then, that wasn't even the worst part. It was the comments after. people like saying, you motherfucker, you raped my childhood. Like literally, it was like a jihad. And
oh my God.
And Warner Brothers, I think, honestly, already in the sort of place of trying to figure out if this would work. It was a big budget movie, and ended up pulling the plug on it. And I'm telling
you, did it ruin the movie because of these people's comments?
I think that the review of this early draft certainly did not help the situation at all.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why I've become a little bit more paranoid about leaks and things getting out. Just because I feel like
what Woody Allen does. Like, he literally won't even give an actor the whole script. A couple of, I get it, because if it leaks, they ruin it.
And by the way, even if it's not leaked, I hate when I go to the movies and I've seen a trailer or a couple commercials and I know the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I get there and I'm watching the movie and it's like, it's more of a confirmation of what I know than an experience. I'm not inside the movie.
I feel like I haven't seen a lot of Star Trek trailers and stuff.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I
have, but you still can't tell what the story is. We're all still, guessing.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to, obviously keep the thing a little bit quiet.
Keep it under wraps.
Well, just so that when you go see the movie, if there are some surprises, they're actual surprises.
Yeah.
Right.
You haven't had them, told to you in a commercial. I hate when, and there are trailers all the time that do this, where they show you everything, and you think, well, there must be a lot more.
Yeah.
And you see the movie, you're like, nope.
That's right. All the best scenes were in the trailer.
It makes me crazy.
Yeah, it's so true.
I know.
So, this is a big deal. I can't, Star Trek is so important to so many people. And that's why you have to keep a script quiet. Yeah. Because even still, these Star Trek fans are so attached to the characters that anything you do in a script, they would sit there and criticize.
But I gotta say, even forget the script. Even when we were shooting in this location I mentioned earlier, there were people who had telephoto lenses who were a quarter mile away taking pictures. But I will say, I am so grateful to those people, because you want people to give a shit. You want people to care.
Yeah.
If there aren't people who are trying to find out what's going on, then you got to try and trump it up and make noise. And so I am grateful to every. Even though I know you were saying earlier that they're crazy. And by the way, there are some Star Trek fans
who are insane,
patently insane.
Right.
But I got to tell you, most of these people are incredibly. They're smart, they're passionate, they're professional. They just love the world of Star Trek.
Did you test that, after you finish filming the movie, or sort of you're editing it, do you ever bring some of these hardcore Trekkies in and show them some of this stuff to see their reaction?
Yeah, because I was never a Star Trek fan, that making the movie for me was more about trying to make a movie that works on its own terms. I wouldn't care if it had references to things that they love. But a couple of the writers actually, are huge Trek fans. And then my producing partner, Brian, had never seen Star Trek. So we had this balance. So when we were all happy, it was like, okay, we're all good. But I would bring people in, both fans of Star Trek and mostly fans of movies, because I care more about what the general moviegoer feels than just a Trekkie.
Yeah, but when you prepared for this movie to direct it, you had to go back and watch all the old Star Trek, right? Because you are into the history somewhat.
I honestly, I watched a bunch of the early movies and episodes when I did the first film.
Right.
I actually didn't want to go back and watch the movies again.
Because in a sense you could be corrupted and then end up repeating history.
Exactly. And by the way, maybe it would have been a better movie even if I had done that. But honestly, I just didn't want to feel like I was trying to imitate it.
Are you a huge Star Wars fan? Is this something you more about?
Yeah, Star Wars, when I saw Star Wars, I was 11 years old, and it was just, that was it.
I wouldn't even know where to begin writing a new Star Wars, because I feel like they kind of fucked up the last three.
Well, keep in mind, though, the last three were prequels.
That's right. They were before the first three.
So where are you picking this thing up from?
Ours would take place after the
first three.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with any of that. I don't want to say garbage, but all of the baggage of the other three.
Yeah, that's history.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Oh wow, jeez, what an undertaking! It's awesome. Well, who knows? All right, listen, I'm getting the high sign that you got to be the hell out of here.
That's too bad.
J.J. Abrams has this a little movie called Star Trek Into Darkness.
Little movie.
Yeah, I want to see this thing.
I can't wait to show you.
Yeah, well,
set it up.
You're
the busiest guy ever.
I know, because I'm judging talent.
I understand.
You talk about that. You don't like the process of sitting there and casting
and all that.
American Got Talent is one big casting.
No, you took a job where that is the job.
That is the job. And
Are you crazy?
I finished up in Chicago Chicago, and they said to me, "You just saw 349 acts." That was our 349 acts.
Kidding?
Yeah, after all the cities we went to, 349 acts. That's a lot of acts. And I was like, "Wow, that's probably why you don't like it."
I heard they were good though.
They actually were really good.
Yeah.
There was
Chicago.
really, Chicago was the best city. Believe it or not, you would have thought L.A., but no. Chicago. Yeah.
So what do you do when everybody's good? Do you have to reject some of the good people?
Yeah, of course you do.
Oh.
No. You let everyone in who's good, and then you sort it out later. Listen, JJ's movie, Star Trek, the guy's under a lot of pressure. As big a success as you are, admit you're feeling the pressure, yes?
You know what I gotta say? Of course I always feel pressure.
Right.
But I also feel like what the pressure means is there are people who care about these projects, and there's an opportunity to provide them with, entertainment and some magic and fun. And so to me, it means there's an audience waiting for something, and that to me is a gift.
And you don't worry about the fact that Iron Man is out there, and the Great Gatsby just came. Oh, please, Iron Man's still making huge amounts of money.
It's making money, but you'll bury him this weekend, right? Put it out there.
All I know is that I feel lucky to be playing the game. I feel lucky to be in it.
I'm proud of you.
Well, you're very kind.
I mean, you've come a long way from Felicity.
Thank you.
And which I loved. I love that show.
Thank you.
I know.
And you've got like 37 new shows coming on television, according to Jimmy. And we're just trying to figure out how you do it.
You're all of television.
J.J. Abrams' Star Trek Into Darkness opens this Thursday in theaters everywhere. If Gary came in, that means they want you out of here.
Sorry about that.
I'm trying to have a real conversation. Where are you going to next? What, Good Morning America or something?
Today's Show.
Today's Show. All right.
Today's Show.
All right. Listen, we'll be back. Thanks, JJ, and good luck with the movie. I can't wait. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I love the first one. So it's going to.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for the flowers, JJ. I've never gotten for writing any notes.
No, don't.
Why did I not receive flowers?
You never have to send me a note, Robin. Good to see you.
All right, JJ. Star Trek. Everyone will see it, and blah 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 blah. All right.